All right, folks, we're back. Welcome to another episode of Coral Living. We made our trek to Ottawa this weekend, like we had mentioned in our last episode, where we had our guests Jim and Terry on. And it was a good trip. We went to Ottawa. It was a long damn ride. 4 hours there, 4 hours back.
Way longer on the way back. Way longer.
So we went to fight for freedom. And when you have a long drive like that, it gets you thinking. And I started to think about admitting when I'm wrong.
No.
And the reason I was thinking that is because when this all ends, do you think anyone's going to admit that they were wrong on any of their opinions?
Nope. Well, I think it'd be very rare. I mean, that's just not typical of people to do, and for good reason. I mean, if you go around, if you're the type of... Do you have any respect for somebody that's constantly going, oops, I was wrong, oops, I was wrong? I mean, I do, because at least that's an honest person. Most people could use to do that, but it's not seen as... It's seen as weak, it's seen as stupid. There are actually people that believe they don't make mistakes. I've heard people say, I don't make mistakes. Yes, you do. You can't live without making mistakes. So, anyway, no, I don't think there'll be a huge swath of people admitting that they're wrong. And I'm not surprised. I'm not shocked. It's, shouldn't even bother you.
I think talking about, admitting every time, you're wrong about every little thing, maybe that would get a little annoying.
It also looks bad. It's not like the sign of a good leader that's constantly fumbling around like Mr. Magoo. Like, you...
But there is something admirable when, like, every now and then someone was like, I had made a judgment call on that and I was wrong about it.
It's the most noble thing to do when you are wrong. Like, sometimes there's a time to resign from a specific position you've been in, but the same type of people that go for positions of powers are usually headstrong people that will rather die than lose a position or resign, despite the fact what most people think. It's like if they absolutely have to, they resign. But admitting wrong, not typically. It's usually career suicide when people have to publicly apologize for something. It's not something people do, I don't think, very often.
Well, if you're confused at what we're alluding to, if you're living under a rock, or maybe you just don't know, we're obviously talking about the COVID world that we're living in right now.
And chaos in Canada right now.
We're from Canada. It's in a chaotic state right now.
Very divided.
Oh yeah. Deep division. It definitely, this idea of admitting when you're wrong, or at least having it in the back of your mind, can sometimes clear your head, because before you commit too hard to certain elements of what's going on, especially the craziness of COVID, it causes at least me to check myself. I think sometimes, like even when I watched the interview I had with the Jim and Terry show last week, I feel like maybe parts of myself, because I was felt like I needed to get my point across, maybe I exaggerated things that I was saying. Maybe it came off as too amplified. And so I think it's good to check yourself.
I didn't notice anything.
I don't know.
I thought it was very, not everybody even that was on that episode necessarily agreed. Like, I don't know, I'm the ultimate fence sitter, but it seemed like everybody was civil, but I don't know.
Yeah, I thought it was civil. Can you think of is there anything without exposing yourself or anything? Do you think can you think of a time in your life where you were wrong about a certain situation and it was hard for you to maybe even just admit to yourself? Maybe not others.
I'm married, so that's part and parcel.
That's actually just before you came over, I think I had to say what's wrong with
Yeah, if you're a dude and you're married, you're likely going to be saying that sort of, which may be a beta-ass thing to say. I don't know. There's guys out there that are like, I would never apologize for any. I don't like them. I'd like to punch them in the neck if I got the chance. But yeah, I'm sure that there's there's people out there admit, like, it's so not a shock. It shouldn't even bother you at this point that people don't admit they're wrong. Yes, I've admitted I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And it's whatever. That's what you do when you're wrong. Like, do you care about anything? Are you a sociopath? You're a freaking loser if you can't admit you're wrong. Then you're a loser. That crap catches up with people. And it always catches up in the end. Like, karma always comes around for that sort of thing. So
Yeah.
I think you should. I think you should admit when you're wrong and change your ways if you're doing something you know is wrong. It's different if you're convicted and you don't think you're wrong. Like, if you legitimately believe you're doing the right thing, that's a whole different can of worms.
Yeah. Whether you consciously or subconsciously know it, I guess here's where the personal development, spiritual thing comes into play. If you're doing it, do you think it's going to get you? Like, do you think that it's like,
Yes.
maybe it's making you depressed? It's like, it's causing you to...
Not only that, your sins will find you out. You can only bury something for so long. It's why I think with people trying to get sober that are in AA, they've got all these steps. And one of the steps is, like, you got to track down everybody you think you ever wronged and apologize to them. Like, there's something to be said about systematically righting your wrongs in your life. Like, avoiding truth and avoiding reconciling things, to me, it seems like a bad thing. And hey, man, I'm not saying I do that perfectly. Like, I'm sure there's plenty of crap I forgot I've done wrong that I may even pay for. I don't know. I don't want to speak that into the universe, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't think it's like just a nonsense, stupid bullcrap concept of things coming full circle when it comes to your actions in life. Even to your own self, even your own subconscious understands something. If you're going around being overly deceptive or whatever the heck the case is, I think that's going to poison your own psyche.
Yeah. The whole COVID situation is so polarized, and it's so hard being on one side, like looking in on the other side, and you feel like like literally in the back of my head, I feel like, how can you not see how wrong you are? That's how I feel.
Yeah,
and
but
then
think of all the things that you've believed fervently that
That's
you've
true.
totally
That's
changed
true.
your idea on.
It's true.
You shouldn't. People are a little heavy-handed with the hate too, and the demonizing of people that believe something different. Like, that's not cool in my opinion either. You're way too lacking empathy, lacking like people that want some kind of retribution. Like, it should be quite good enough that you get the resolution that you're looking for. If, in case anybody's confused, the truckers in Canada have been protesting very hard, and they've actually resorted now to blocking off roads with demands in regards to the mandates that our Prime Minister set forth, and they're actually making progress.
Yeah.
They're actually getting some of their demands met. Now, when we were at the rally, when we were at the protest on Saturday, I hate to say it because I think it was a good cause. I'm glad I went, but there was you could feel the palpable hate towards Trudeau. There were insane signs, and I get that people are angry with them, and I'm angry with them too. But I don't know that wanting to lynch someone because of something like that.
Yeah,
Is necessarily
I would prefer a peaceful resolution that it comes to an end. I wonder if this leader, I wonder if Trudeau can do something like that, because this brings up this whole, because then you would have to maybe admit, or would he be admitting that he was wrong? If he's gonna do it, the only way realistically I could see him stepping down would be to say, look, I love Canada, and the people clearly don't like my style of governing, and so for the sake of the people, I'm going to honor their wishes and I'm going to stand down. I hope everybody the best of luck. I hope that the next guy is able to do this better than I did, or meet the needs of the people. And it's so funny. Whoever's listening to our show, they see it through this lens here. If you were listening to two people right now on the other side, they would literally, because I listened to a Jim and Terry show this morning, and they were like, oh yeah, he's just pointing out that it's a small majority of people, and it is. And, when they go, I know, it's ridiculous, it's absolutely insane, but they actually believe it. They're like, oh yeah, it's just a fringe minority. It's a fringe.
Well, okay, here's the thing. Look at what the major news outlets are doing. Do a fun little experiment and YouTube, CBC, Global News, whatever, any news outlet, you're going to see a very biased approach to the story of the protesters and the truckers and the Freedom Convoy. Look at the comments. There's enough turned on people that are like, I was there.
Yeah.
Like thousands.
Yeah.
Do it. Test me on this thing.
You probably won't find it on CBC because a lot of them have gotten smart. CBC doesn't leave comments on.
Yeah, but anywhere where you can, there's thousands of comments from people that actually care about what's going on.
Never-ending stream.
And they're like, this is blatant lying. I mean, it's out of the cat is out of the bag. You can't argue with the fact that when this started, they said the truckers are protesting potholes. That's an all-out lie.
Yeah,
and they did that.
Do you remember when we were in Ottawa? Do you remember the camera crew that bursted out of the building and then went back in? Remember a guy came by. He just tried to set that guy up.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that?
There was weird stuff going on.
And the camera crew came out and then they ran back in the building.
But I mean, you have to be honest about what was actually going on, and I can say I wasn't totally in favor of the degree of the Lynch Trudeau brutality in terms of what they wanted. I mean, I understand it. I just don't agree with it. But I mean, some of these people have been there the entire time. Like, they're more dedicated than we were. They're still there. I can't really say boo. These are freaking warriors, some of these people. There's footage of guys standing up. Some police came into a bar in, where was that, Alberta?
Yeah.
And they were like, you have to leave. And they were like, no, we're not.
Yeah.
Like, and the police were like, we don't want to have to use force, but we will. And they were like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty crazy to talk to a cop.
Yeah, it was pretty intense in Coutts, Alberta yesterday. The cops started with their, we're gonna muscle you guys and we're gonna tell you how it's done. And now they're making, they're negotiating with them. They're making negotiations now with the truckers after they realized that they couldn't strong arm them, which I love, kind of.
I mean, not all of the people there are freaking warriors. Like, a lot of them are just regular folks.
Yeah.
But the thing is that
courage, man. That would have been intimidating to be in that situation. But I think they've been pushed to the line where they're like, well, it doesn't matter because I'm gonna lose anything ever anyway. So
look,
I guess we'll see you on the battlefield.
Trudeau finally, after, again, you can't argue with me on this. He was in hiding. He was hiding.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He finally came out of hiding and he addressed what was going on.
And he left the province. I think he's in Vancouver.
And then he left again. But when he addressed it, you're either going to see it one way or you're going to see it a different way. For people that have similar beliefs to, I guess, where we stand on it, not wanting them to force truckers to get vaccines.
And me as well. I don't want to be forced to get needles by my government.
Right, I don't want that either. So if you are in that camp, you're going to see his address as being
crazy.
Probably revolting. But I have no doubt that there are people that watch that address and say absolutely nothing wrong with what he said.
Oh, yes, for sure. Yeah. And that's what I'm talking about. Like it makes me think to, like, if this gets resolved, like, and not to mention, there's like a whole other side story going on here. It's not just what's going on in Canada. It's all over the world. And more information is getting exposed on these vaccines now. For all the people who are like, shove this down everyone's arm, I don't care about the kids, do what you gotta do, get it out as fast as you can. When I hear people talk like that, I'm like in the camp like, man, shh, because what if, like, in a year from now, it gets out that, yeah, Pfizer was doing it for all the money, and they were hiding all the negative side effects, and I know you're probably sitting back, those who are confident and all that, that's never going to happen. That's never going to happen. If it does, man, are you going to be like, wow, I said some awful, awful things? And I guess maybe on my part, if it comes out a year from now that you idiots, that vaccine was the savior for mankind and you denied it, would have to be brave enough to come out and say, I was wrong about the vaccines. I've hurt my fellow man by not getting those vaccines. If I felt there was enough information. But a lot of people say that once you get so committed to an idea or an ideology or something like that, the chances of you going back, even with all the proof in front of your face, is not likely.
Listen, they were able to capture footage from the protest. They saw a guy holding a Nazi flag. They saw some of the people early on put an upside down flag on a Terry Fox statue. Terry Fox, if you're from a different country, they probably know who Terry Fox is. He was an athletic hero.
Yeah.
Battled cancer. And somebody was like, I don't know if this person was drinking or not, but they went up onto the cenotaph and they were dancing around. They focused so hard on those things. That's three people,
yes,
a few people.
Yeah.
Now, I could be doing the same thing, but I was staying out of it until I heard that Trudeau had referred to people that hadn't been vaccinated yet as most likely to be misogynistic and racist. I'm not a misogynist or a racist. And then when the news outlets were lying about the nature of the protest, which they most certainly were, that type of thing was what pushed me over the edge and said, it's getting into the realm of blatant corruption now. Oh, and when they mandated that the truckers crossing the borders had to be vaccinated.
Yeah.
That you no longer have control of your own body at that point. If you observe the nature of what's going on with COVID and how it's panned out over the last couple of years, I mean, I'm not sure that measure. I don't know, but there was enough things to push me onto the side of supporting the truckers.
Yeah.
That's the best I can do, and you're right. If you're wrong, you're wrong. But here's the thing. Even if it's still my choice to get the vaccine. I've known several people that have been vaccinated that have gotten COVID anyway. Yeah. They've been vaccinated. I'm friends with people that get vaccinated. I'm not anti-vaccine at all. And I know people, and I think everybody I know that's been vaccinated has got it. I haven't got it.
Same here. Everything from my perspective, everything that I've seen is like, it literally feels like what I'm being told. The opposite is the truth from what, like, the direct media sources. It literally feels like everything you're telling me is a lie because everything I'm experiencing is the exact opposite. It feels like bizarro.
Now, hang on. I'm sure if anybody cares about this, if anybody watches this, I don't even know if we have any viewers, but whoever is watching this that has an opposing opinion, because these are just opinions for Pete's sake. If somebody has an opposing opinion, they're probably tearing clumps of hair out of their head right now.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you idiots! It's the non-vaccinated people that are making vaccinated people get sick again. But I struggle in my tiny brain to figure out what the damn point of the vaccine is if everybody I know that's got it, boosters and all, are getting COVID anyway.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know that you can force that to make sense.
Yeah. And I found out the other day that a person I directly know got myocarditis and might be fucked.
Because from the vaccine?
Yeah, from the vaccine.
Well, it's a risk. I mean, myocarditis is a risk if you just get COVID without the vaccine too, though, right?
In my personal...
Isn't it?
It's a what? If you get COVID. If you get COVID.
Right. So...
Yeah, but from what I know, I actually know of more horrible situations with people who got the vaccine than people who didn't get the vaccine. So the universe is literally telling me, like, don't fucking touch us.
But hang on, because for every person that's got anecdotal stories of look, man, I know plenty of people that have got the vaccine and they got COVID anyway, or whatever. First of all, how bad was the COVID they got? Maybe the vaccine mitigated the effects of COVID. That's possible.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other side of it is, damn it, I lost my friggin' what I was gonna say.
I don't know. You're trying to kind of take the devil's advocate or the opposite approach of what.
Oh, I was gonna say, for every anecdotal story we have, I've heard of people. I've heard of I saw an EMS worker comment saying, "Really, you're gonna like somebody very, reliant on science."
Yeah.
Saying, "Listen, I'm an EMS worker. Just the other day, I dealt with some guy that wasn't vaccinated." And he was dying of COVID. Like, you can't tell me anything. I've got using my own eyeballs, but one of our best friends works in a hospital. He's in the medical field, and he's like, it's from the get-go. He's been saying this is nonsense.
Yes,
I'm there. I have eyeballs. He doesn't even trust. This guy has a hard time with doctors, as far as I know. Which I don't. I still trust doctors. I know some.
So like, that's what like if I'm wrong about this, like. Thanks. I feel like saying like if I'm wrong about it, I feel like saying, well, thanks a lot, universe, for all the, every other thing that like pointed me down this path, because like my whole experience has been, I'm being fed bullshit, and what I've seen with the mainstream media, you're exposed. The ugliness of the mainstream media, no one's gonna trust you again. And you better hope that the political powers that got you and are funding you don't lose their seats, because you will all be gone. If it was up to Maxime Bernier, I think you'd shut every single one of them down from the PPC party. And I don't think you should ever have state-funded media. It's disgusting. That's my take on state-funded media.
It doesn't seem to be in favor of truth, but I don't know that any media really has been, because it's always funded by something. At one point it may have been funded by cigarette companies.
Yeah.
And
let's just pretend to be a little bit more balanced though. Can we not there's one media source I follow, Rising, that they do a really good job. They have like a centrist, a conservative, and a liberal, but none of them are like hyper one way or the other. It's actually called The Hill. But it always says Rising on their on the screen. You can see them on YouTube. They're pretty good at going right down the middle.
We're going hippie mode.
Hippie. But another, when I was thinking about I was thinking like you told me some of the things, like being married with to Esther, and me with Jesse. Admitting when you're wrong, but sometimes things like the only like major course shift, I thought I was able to like think of in my own direct experience might have been some of like my religious beliefs, that I was so fervently believed that it was this way and that was the only way it was going to be. Learning to come to an understanding internally about that didn't happen overnight. It was like a long process of being able to accept certain things bit by bit by bit. Mm-hmm. And I think that might be how this plays out, is that when the calm comes after the storm, there might be a slow bit by bit, all of us who are like maybe too far one way. I'm thinking probably be on both sides of the fence. Probably be on my side, probably be on the other side. We'll all be like, I think I was probably too harsh on this aspect of it.
That would be
that'd be the best
pie in the sky, best case ridiculous scenario.
Yeah. Let's go for it, baby.
Well, it would be wonderful if something like that could happen. It's just not. It's more likely that people, if people are swayed, it usually takes time. No one's ever going to give you you're not going to, fat chance if you think somebody's going to you all right, sir, or anyone's going to yield to anything. That's just not how people, intelligent people even operate. And so
because they're so it's too much of an ego thing to
you're
be
invested.
I was wrong about that. Yeah, like some of the things that I hear said, man, they're like, I don't know how you're going to, like, if this comes out, man, I don't know how you're going to be able to go back. How are you going to go back on some of the things you said? Like, some things have been said during this that it's like, I feel like you've gone to the point of no return.
When this whole thing started in the beginning, right after the first announcements that this was real and it was going to be a pandemic, in the beginning, I said, I sounded like a kook. I said, I can see them blocking off entryway to the town next to you without some kind of identification or something like that. And everybody was like, that's friggin' crazy. The government's not going to do that. Cops aren't going to do that. And we've seen some pretty crazy crap in lieu of that. And I've actually had people say, man, I thought you were crazy in the beginning, but some of that stuff came true. The other thing I said is, if we can get through this and things normalize, the people that were adamant about what they were adamant about are not going to just shift sides. For years, we'll be probably paying for the repercussions of what has happened here. People are going to be going, I don't care. I don't care if the truckers, got what they wanted or anything. I still think they're idiots. I still think people close their ears and close their eyes to not even what they think's right, but what makes them right. What makes them right. Like, people are viciously attached to that, and for good reason. Like, there's consequences to being wrong in life.
Yeah.
So don't expect that. And
I hope if we slowly massage ourselves out of this thing, maybe there's a way. I'm hoping for the best.
Sure.
Maybe I'm too optimistic. But I definitely hear what you're saying. The commitment to certain aspects of this,
it's like an investment.
Yeah.
Well, you don't want to have wasted your time believing in something that was wrong. Like,
imagine waking up tomorrow to realize that you spent 2 years in lockdowns, fucked your kids up, lost, had to get 2 extra added mortgages down on your house to realize that it was all a sham.
Well, I know people that are suffering mentally and that I'm worried about. I know people that have confided in me and have expressed that, like, it's affected their work. They can't work in the same type of career that they were doing. Yeah. Not being able to do all kinds of different things that they want to. And you got to ask, like, it better damn well be worth that. The suicide rate has gone up over these last couple of years.
Drug overdose.
Has it definitely been worth it? There's economic repercussions. Yeah. Has it definitely, without a doubt, been for just cause? And here's the thing. If in the end they just go, all right, the people have spoken, other countries have.
Yeah,
other countries right away said, no, we're not doing this. The police joined the people, and they never had lockdowns the way we did. Yeah. That's happened in other countries. Yeah. So if we go, all right, we'll see what happens, and then everything's okay. Yeah. How can people forget what happened? They'd be like, what the hell? There's already a whole bunch of people coming on realizing that the news outlets lie to you. What do you trust them? They friggin' lie. And get away with it. And all kinds of different stuff has happened in the course of this that should, if you're a sensible man, keep you up at night. Unless you're an idiot. If you've got a brain in your head, you probably, unless you understand something I don't, about everything working out okay in the end. But there's some scary things.
Some people don't think. Some people watch mainstream media and they think it's they put their full trust in government funded media. They think like CBC wouldn't lie to me. CBC's not going to lie to me. Can you imagine what's going on in that brain?
Well, here's the thing. I was late to the game. I never would have thought twice about that sort of thing until recently. When we got back, it was also pretty inspiring to see everything that was going on in Ottawa when we were there. Yeah. When I came back, it was an onslaught of negative coverage. I was like, that's not what was going on there. What the hell?
The-
How did they find a guy with a Nazi flag? That was not the
Well, some
flags that
people,
were
I've seen
flying.
videos of people of them, like, in some of them it's photoshopped, some of the images, I've seen
I don't
images
know about
from-
that. I'm not surprised.
Did you see
that
the
a guy
one
with a
guy?
Nazi
Did you see the
flag
guy
would
with the
be-
Confederate? There was one guy with a Confederate flag there. Everyone in the crowd picked him out and were like, "Get out of here, buddy! Get out of here!" He's like,
Yeah,
"We
yeah.
know you're with the
Yes.
media."
Oh, jeez.
They said, "We know you're with the media. Get out of here." They caught him.
Mm.
And then there was another situation where there was a guy walking with like some ridiculous flag, and maybe it was a Nazi flag, and someone took a picture of the other journalist hiding behind a truck, taking a picture of the guy with like one of those kick-ass cameras,
Right.
taking it. So they caught them like setting it up, and
But-
we even somewhat experienced it ourselves.
We did. But here's the thing. To whoever would be listening to this that already has and is invested in an opposing way of thinking, their brain is a Rolodex of excuses for all that stuff.
Yeah.
Just, no, well, not every... Just like they pick out the couple of things to demonize it, everybody does that. Everybody's brain rifles through to prove them right, always. And it's not for no reason. That's not something to demonize people for doing. That's how you stay grounded in life. I mean, some of this stuff is destabilizing if you wake up and realize what the hell's going on.
It's not.
It can be
it's not-
terrifying. You have to face a terrifying reality that your leaders sometimes lie to you, that your government isn't as great as it could be. Now, here's the thing. There was some amazing stuff there. There were people singing "O Canada." There was, there was a lot of people coming together in the idea of hope, and there's people that have suffered, like their kids can't play sports, and they're fallen into depression. Some people's kids have killed themselves.
Yeah.
There's people that want to get out of this thing because they can't, and I'm not saying boo-hoo, can't play sports. Like, get over it. I'm saying worse things than that. Careers have been lost. All kinds of different things. And they just hearing, oh, we're all in it together.
That's
Well,
not-
those people
yeah.
really are all in it together. They really are finally together. And anyway, I'm friggin' yammering on.
No, I think you're making a good point. I feel sometimes like the reason why we're still even in this thing is because for those who bought in so hook, line, and sinker, it is too distressing to admit to yourself that to admit that it's an illusion that the people you've put your complete trust in, they not only don't have your back, but they would squash you within a second if they knew they could make a profit off of you without having to feel any repercussions. When you come to when the light bulb goes off in your head that my government doesn't care about me at not even a little bit, that's like worrisome, because now you know that all the hyper taxation, all the ridiculous things that they do, the money that they pocket, the stuff that they do, it's you don't live in the grandioso free country that you thought you lived in. We're not so far off from the Chinese and the Russians that you think we are.
I just can't wait till, I hope for a day where little old ladies at McDonald's have the authority to tell me where to stand and to put a damn mask on, and see the glimmer of joy in their eyes being able to tell somebody what to do. Listen, I'm not trying to piss anybody off, you know what I mean? If somebody's scared, I don't want to freak them out by not wearing a mask or something like that, but, it's not just the government. The thing you're talking about, the corruption, is, listen, everybody that's at you're a fool if you think everybody that's even at that rally is just a good person. It's a wide variety of people, and no one's a good person. So these people have their own problems, but they've clearly, it's not a small minority, it's not fringe. There's a massive amount of Canadians that are saying, we don't like this leader, we don't like his mandates, they don't make sense to us, and we don't want to do it. We'll gamble, we'll take our chances and see how we can fare coping with this disease. There's a huge and growing number of people feeling that way.
Oh yeah, it's
spiking. It is what it is. That's where we're at. I didn't like that he referred to the group I fall into as racists and misogynists. That's straight up just 101 bad politics. And so, and as far as I still don't know what to think exactly of COVID, but it's been 2 years and I've seen a bunch of, with my own eyes how it's unraveled at this point, and I'm ready to move on. I still haven't got the vaccine. I haven't got it. I was there. I was breathing on people and inhaling coughs and smoke and all kinds of things.
Yeah.
And so far so good. But I don't want to be pompous. I mean, I don't want anyone to get sick or anything.
Yeah.
But a lot of this stuff just isn't adding up.
Yeah.
The science even, it's a smattering of jargon that, that so many people have differing opinions on. Different scientists have different opinions. And the scary thing is no one's shutting down people that are promoting the idea that this disease is dangerous and you got to get vaccinated. And it's a bad sign when they're shutting down people that are simply offering an alternate opinion.
Yeah.
Again, wake the hell up. That should freak you out, that there's a strong effort, and don't have your brain immediately go, yeah, but it's for safety. It's because people are too stupid and you need to... No. It's never okay to cancel discussion. Never.
Yeah,
if you're on the side of that...
That's how science is done.
If you're on the side, if that's your thought, then you're a little bit lost.
Yeah. There's, and maybe to kind of like wrap it all up and tie it...
This was intense.
Tie it into a bow. Again, we aren't doctors. This is just our opinion.
Surprise, surprise.
We try to, bring some type of a personal growth type of a thing and spiritual twinge on it. And I think one thing we talk about a lot is, it's very easy to target the outside problem, thinking about just get it, tackle it, get it wrong. But really, this journey kind of starts within and dealing with our own demons and dealing with who we are as people. And I know we've talked a long time about that stuff, but I think more importantly, if we start all looking within and fixing the demon within us, then I think that's going to get contagious.
You can't see straight. It's like the Bible verse: clean the crap out of your own eyes before you bother with somebody else's. And I think that there's a lot of truth in that. I agree. I think be good yourself, and then you'll have a clear eye of you'll have a better idea of what the truth is after that. And everybody can improve. And like the other thing to this was a pretty intense. You're probably picking up quite clearly that there's some intense feelings, but it's an intense time. Like there's a lot of intensity going on in Canada. I mean, we've got people facing off with police. That's a scary time. Police escalating. Not in a stupid way or anything, but having to get SWAT involved. People blocking off highways that
cities,
borders and stuff like that. Like you don't want to see your country go down that route, and that's where we're at. It is an intense time, and the world has changed ridiculously over the past couple of years, and it's kind of coming to some sort of a head right now.
Yeah.
These guys are adamant. The people involved with this, they've left it all behind. They put it all on the table.
Yeah, this is their last stand because they have nothing to go back to. And I was when they first mentioned mandating, I was like, be careful. You got to be careful with that. If someone is willing to give up their entire livelihood, feeding their children, their job, their pension, all the work, if that person, and there's not just a couple of them, we're talking millions of people willing to give that all up to fight for what they believe in, those people know what they believe in. Like the person who's willing, the person who doesn't make a sacrifice, the person on the other side who's saying, yeah, good on them, just mandate it so they lose whatever. And that person didn't give anything up. You don't know the fortitude in their character. you know what the other person stands for because they're saying, I'm going to give it all up. So when you drop a line, and the place, this is where you do not want it to go to this place. But, like, someone eventually has to say this question, and I don't even know how to humbly, I don't know how to say it. But does no one ever think about, does the question not enter your mind? What are you, do you believe in anything that you're ready to die for? Or, is there something you would believe in so wholeheartedly that you would die for it? Because I feel like we're, moving into that territory.
Well, people in Canada, which has always been a very, it's for a long time, it's been a very safe place to grow up and live, we've got people that join the military to protect the country, and people that go into careers like policing and different things like that, where you are kind of putting your life on the line. Not kind of, you're putting your life on the line.
Yeah.
We do have that, but for most of the populace, for a long time, it's been a very safe place. And these people are regular workers, regular truckers, and for them, I see your point, for them to have this much conviction is worth a double take, and I think that
but the other side needs to ask the people who are making the laws, the people who have the privilege right now of calling the shots and making the rules, are they asking that question too? Should they be asking that question? Because that's scary. That's a scary thought that we might be living in times where that's what really, I think horrifies people.
I heard that for the people hanging out on watching the truckers come through, they were standing on bridges and they were holding flags in support of the truckers. I don't know if this is true. You probably know. I heard that there was a last-minute law created to stop people from congregating on bridges in Nova Scotia or something like that. That there was a law put in Nova Scotia. Check it out.
Yeah.
That there was a law put in very quickly after that to deter people from doing that in regards to safety or something like that. Which is stuff like that, and I don't know. It's the one thing I mentioned that I'm pretty damn not positive about. But I mean, things of that nature are worth your concern if it's true. You know what I mean? That's how things happen, is little by little. I don't think people understand that, And here's the thing. There are people that are very intelligent, that follow the science from the beginning and have been tracking what all types of scientists have been saying in terms of, and medical professionals in terms of COVID in general. They've been following it. They've been fervent in staying on top of that.
Yeah.
And they believe the scientists, and they followed the science since the beginning, and they're still on that side. And I'm not arguing with that.
Yeah.
But there have been things that have happened regarding the Prime Minister and these mandates and the news and everything like that is just, takes your eye off of the ones and twos of the science and makes you look at something a little bit, look at the situation a little differently. Yeah. And they're getting their thing. They said they're dealing with the police in Alberta.
In Coutts,
Alberta. Yeah. The government yielded to the truckers.
Well, yes, it looks like they've come to, I think they're kind of meeting halfway, I think.
Right.
They're going to open up some lanes for the border, but they're not fully going to open up. They're going to wait to see that they follow through with what they said they would give the truckers.
But here's the thing: if when this is done, if the tide is dramatically turned, and let's say a lot of the mandates aren't in place anymore, you can have full capacity. You don't have to wear masks or something like that. If we end up there, and it's because of social revolt, you gotta really spend some time in introspection thinking about what the hell was going on the first 2 years then.
Oh yeah.
Think about that.
Oh yeah.
You can't just let it go and be like,
oh yeah.
No. What the hell was that about then?
Yeah.
If it's not that, we'll deal with it.
Yeah.
But if it is that, think about that.
I actually I put
Think
my
about the type of people you're putting in positions of power.
yeah, put my tinfoil hat on. I felt like I won't even get into it, but I think it's actually way, way, way worse than people. I think
I've heard some theories.
I think that what's actually going on is so horrifying that like when it does come out, people are going to be flipping when I feel
I don't
like
know about that.
I could be wrong. I get the impression that millions could have been saved, but I could be wrong about that. Who knows?
Just an opinion.
Yep. But anyway, folks, think we've rambled on long enough talking about admitting when you're wrong. I would like to hope that I could be able to admit when I'm wrong. We'll have to see how things play out. I feel like in my own heart, like maybe I know I've committed to something, and if it's wrong, I'm gonna have to bite the hard-ass bullet if I'm wrong about it. But that's the way the cookie crumbles, I guess. So, anyone, and I know this was intense. We've talked quite a bit about this stuff for the last couple of weeks. We're going to get back to some more down to earth or out of this earth spiritually issues coming up. So everyone, thank you. If you like this show, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, share it with a friend, and everybody, until next time.
Stay political. No, stay
spiritual.